The Secretary of War is going to war with mainstream media right now, and a lot of people are not talking about it. So the Washington Post writes, and they say Hegseth orders rare urgent meeting of hundreds of generals and admirals. Says the Pentagon has summoned military officials from around the world for a gathering in Virginia. Even top generals and their staffs don't know the reason for the meeting. Now, let's be fair. The way the administration, Secretary of War has kind of operated is they will post this on social media, memorandums, big announcements. You think it would be like a show of force that there would be a bunch of admirals and generals that are around here essentially going to be like, we are a lethal fighting force. That's what they've always been about. So I'm just sitting here like, okay, well, let's consider the source. Washington Post. Keep that in mind. They say the highly unusual directive was sent to virtually all the military's top commanders worldwide, according to more than a dozen people familiar with the matter. It was issued earlier this week against the backdrop of potential government shutdown, and as Hegseth's overtly political moves have deepened a sense of distress among his opponents who fear that he's erasing the Defense Department's status as a nonpartisan institution. It says in a statement Thursday, Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell affirmed that Hegseth will be addressing his senior military leaders early next week, but he offered no additional details. Parnell, a senior advisor to the defense secretary, voiced no security concerns about the Washington Post reporting on the meeting scheduled for Tuesday in Quantico, Virginia. Again, they are on the offense of this, of saying he is being political, and they're also saying not being concerned with security. And I think the reason why they're going after this, and we're going to discuss it more in detail, is the fact that there was that whole scandal where Department of War, the whole controversy of the Signal chat, and there was somebody from the Atlantic that was on that group chat and had leaked some of the contents and details of various strikes and things like that. Not trying to get here, but we're going to get to why this is falling back and forth so you can see both sides of it. They say it was not clear whether President Donald Trump will attend the meeting or if Hegseth had given the president advance notice of his plans. He told reporters in the Oval Office on Thursday afternoon that he will go if they want me. Now, he has a whole clip here I'm going to show you guys about what President Trump has actually said. And this also does include Vice President J.D. Vance, where they're like, this is a nothing burger.
Well, I know. I love it. I mean, I think it's great. Let him be friendly. Let him be friendly with the generals and admirals from all over the world. Why is there something? No, but is there something wrong with it?
What is it about? Will you be there personally as well? And what is it about?
Well, I'll be there if they want me, but why is that such a big deal? I mean, the fact that we're getting along with the generals and admirals from all. Remember, I'm the president of peace. It's good to get along. It's good. You act like this is a bad thing. Isn't it nice that people are coming from all over the world to be with us?
It's not particularly unusual that generals who report to the Secretary of War and then to the President of the United States are coming to speak with the Secretary of War. It's actually not unusual at all, and I think it's odd that you guys have made it into such a big story.
Now, because of this, there are a lot of people that are very upset about it that the Washington Post talks about. I'll talk about some of those things to say that this is not the status quo. And they're focusing on that part of it, but there's more to why this has been leaked, because this was not put out by Secretary of War. They say top commanders in conflict zones and senior military leaders stationed throughout Europe and the Middle East and Asia Pacific region are among those expected to attend Hegseth's meeting, said people familiar with the matter, who spoke on the condition of anonymity as they were not authorized to publicly discuss the issue. The order does not apply to top military officers who hold staff positions. Well, I would think that that might be information that could be operational security. Yeah, nobody's going to say, I'm the one that told Washington Post this. I want to go to jail. I want to be the one. I want to be the one that actually gets in trouble. Never. Never. And they say all general officers in command in grade 07 through 010 and their general officer senior enlisted advisors are directed to attend within operational constraints. The order states, according to one person who saw a copy, 07 through 010 refers to the military classification for all generals and admirals. So they're all basing this entire article on the idea of, oh my God, they're scared for their jobs. He said he's going to cut 20% of admirals and generals. I don't think he's bringing them all there to fire them. And they kind of criticize this because they're like showing all these different anecdotal things from sources that nobody actually wants to come out on the record of saying this is not normal and saying that they're against this. But they're trying to use technology as the reason why and part of this article. It says the Defense Department possesses and often uses highly secure video conferencing technology that enables military officials, regardless of their location, to discuss sensitive matters with the White House, the Pentagon, or both. Another person said ordering hundreds of military leaders to appear in the same location is not how this is done. We all know that in some ways there are good things about technology. There are some bad things. If me and you were to have a conversation in person versus over a Zoom call or something like that, you're going to get much more out of the experience or much more from the messaging than that. If these admirals and generals are leaving and they can't lead and use the same technology to have people that are overseeing while they are gone, that's crazy. You have to give that power to allow people to actually lead. And if it's falling apart, that means there's not information being passed down or not allowing those people to make decisions, which might be proving a point here. From what I would say my recent memory, around the time when Secretary of War Pete Hegseth had the signal chat, which had the Atlantic person, staff member or whatever in there and essentially leaked those pieces of information. People are like, oh my God, operational security, what's going on? On top of that, you saw like, okay, we got to tighten things up. We're going to make sure it's good. And that's where this article says Pentagon places further restrictions on journalist access. This just happened to be September 20th, 2025. It is currently, as I'm making this video, September 26th. Sounds like the news about these generals and admirals going to meet up in Virginia happened right after this was posted and talked about. And they say journalists who cover the Defense Department at the Pentagon can no longer gather or report information, even if it's unclassified, unless it has been authorized for release by the government. Defense officials announced Friday. Reporters who don't sign a statement agreeing to the new rules will have their press credentials revoked, officials said. Multiple press associations quickly condemned the new rules and said that they will fundamentally change journalists' ability to cover the Pentagon and the U.S. military. They called for the Trump administration to rescind the new requirements, arguing they inhibit transparency in the American people. And the National Press Club denounced the requirement as a direct assault on independent journalism at the very place where independent scrutiny matters most, the U.S. military. And because of this, you had Secretary of War Pete Hegseth going off and pretty much telling them like, yeah, you're not just going to walk around the Pentagon with some kind of press official and start being like, can you answer my questions? Here, I heard this, I heard that. Oh my God. Like, that's not what they're wanting. But also, I would say if you don't know anything about information, whether it be unclassified or not, unclassified information paired with other unclassified information could make classified information. So like kind of what we're seeing right here. It does appear that some of the representatives, especially the Assistant Secretary of War, have come out against these journalists and said that's not the intent of what was happening. And that on this letter dated September 24th, 2 days ago, they had said that essentially this is not about having access to information or you being able to report on what you can. It is about the security of the information that is there. And yes, we control the ability for you to access this building. So you can have the control and ability to report on whatever you want. And the second page here is telling people that are part of the media that, you know, this is not a binding, like, I will do this. It's just advising you, like, if you release information that is operational security, we can remove your pass. Now, to deem what is or isn't some form of classified material or whatever else, that is a whole other legal ballgame that we have not seen implemented. And lastly, they're saying this does not affect your First Amendment rights. You are still able to do whatever. And so, yeah, as you can see, if Signal Chat leaked, the security concerns for the press get tighter. The press then push back. They get this letter of response of like, nope, we're not backing down. We have made sure this is legal. And then just so happens, a day after that, they're like, gotcha, we're going to leak the stuff anyway. And we're going to tell you all about how your generals and admirals are going to Virginia. And that's not going to look good. This is a story no one's talking about because they're painting it as, oh, they're going to lose their jobs. These admirals and generals, focus on that. And I'm like, dude, this story is petty. It is. You just have to follow the crumbs. That's it.